He's a fantastic player and people just keep giving him hate. He's one of the best players in the world. He's not reached he has not fulfilled his potential because of because of the fact that he had so much more potential. Because Neymar, if he had fulfilled all his potential, he would be spoken in the same breath of not even Cristiano Ronaldo, of Messi.
PSG always counted him up for sale. Last year, he would have gone to any club that would have taken him, except for the fact that it was a World Cup in 6 months' time. And that was the only reason why Neymar refused.
Even if Neymar has scored 30, 25, 30 goals for PSG, people don't remember it because they have not seen those goals. They have not seen them beat players.
How many teams did Neymar score against in the knockouts of the Champions League? And how many teams did he pummel as minnows in Champions League football in the group stages? Do you have any stats for that?
What did Real Madrid do when Florentino Perez first took over? They brought in players from all their rivals, they brought in players from all over the world, and they built a team, although they had a very good team already at first. Isn't it? So, just because it was Real Madrid and a club with history, PSG did the same thing. Then why is Neymar not given the same amount of respect?
PSG always counted him up for sale. Last year, he would have gone to any club that would have taken him, except for the fact that it was a World Cup in 6 months' time. And that was the only reason why Neymar refused.
Who is the player who scored the maximum goals for Brazil? And you start Googling the player, you look at his tricks, I think people will start giving Neymar more of his due. Neymar has never been a bad player. He's always played well for PSG. Yes,
No,
Mbappe wanted.
I won't say Neymar is a
He
bad
has
player, but
played
there was a lot of overlap between Mbappe and Neymar in the sort of position that they wanted to play.
That's true because the style, I think Mbappe wanted the ball earlier and Neymar had a different way of looking at things. He's a very good player, very good technically, very good tactically. He's a fantastic player and people just keep giving him hate. He's one of the best players in the world. He's not reached he has not fulfilled his potential because of because of the fact that he had so much more potential. Because Neymar, if he had fulfilled all his potential, he would be spoken in the same breath of not even Cristiano Ronaldo, of Messi. Because Neymar had way more skills. He could pass the ball, he could even head the ball, he had the speed, he had decent strength, he had everything. He even had a very good shot right earlier in the career.
No, I agree. So he started from such a high level and he has not consistently lived up to that throughout his career. And that's been the disappointing thing about
He had
Neymar,
he had a lot of injuries. That's the reason.
No, I agree. Either way, people end up having
Neymar,
injuries and dropping out. Or
see,
people end up having
Neymar has won the Brazil the Olympics. He has, I think only the World Cup is probably left for him. He has won the Champions League with Barcelona. If you look at his whole body of work without being very biased against him, just because he does a bag of tricks, people are like, oh, he's just showboating. Neymar can easily win fouls. He can beat any player on any given day. He can pass the ball fantastically well.
No, I agree. The problem with Neymar has been, I agree with you, injuries have ruined him. But the thing with when you're talking about elite players who are some of the best that we've ever seen is that they find a way to remain fit throughout the season. The reason why Messi and Ronaldo are talked about in this level is because they have consistently remained fit for a couple of decades
You
of their
cannot
career.
blame players for falling, getting injured sometimes.
That is what
Yes,
prevents that
Neymar.
team. So if Ronaldo or Messi had become injured and were prone to injury, they wouldn't have been able to fulfill what they've done throughout their career. And that's happened to Neymar. He never found a way to stay fit, and that might be genetically down to him. I don't know. I'm not his doctor, but at the end of the day, he did not stay fit throughout his career.
No,
and
but
he had lots and lots of injuries.
Forget about
Which
his
ruled him
potential.
out.
Just
That
look at his
conversation.
body of work. That guy is a superstar. Just look at the body of work that he has managed to reach. All right, he's won the Olympics for Brazil, which they never won before, which was very important for Brazil.
I agree. Neymar was elite when he played for that season with Messi, Suarez, Neymar.
He was
Up front,
elite.
He was elite.
And he has been
Absolutely.
playing well for Brazil as well.
After that, with this PSG transfer, I think it all went wrong with the PSG transfer. He went to PSG because he wanted to move away from Messi's limelight and wanted to make his own name. But that became a catastrophe because they signed Mbappe that same season, and both of them ended up playing over each other and running into the same spaces, creating more problems for each other than they were solving. And it ended up being a colossal nightmare. On top of that, his injuries just would not go away, and all this combined, it just took Neymar down multiple pedestals. To the point, if you ask me, is Ronaldinho going to be remembered as a better player or Neymar going to be remembered as a better player? I would say Ronaldinho because he, in my head, has more emotion than Neymar. And I'm sure stats don't probably back
Again,
that up.
there's a problem with that. The bias is because people do not really follow the French league because it's not a very good product as well, the way they sell it to all over the world. So people don't, even if Neymar has scored 30, 25, 30 goals for PSG, people don't remember it because they have not seen those goals. They have not seen them beat players.
But
All right, I know, this is
fact,
the
right?
reason.
It's a fact. If you do
Yeah,
it in an inferior league, you're not going to be considered as good.
exactly, but he did it well. He did well in the Champions League as well. He was doing well overall. The sort of games that he has played for Barcelona, the one in which they came back and scored
No,
six
that's
goals,
what
the
I
way
agree.
Neymar pulled that team forward, just
I
pushing
don't
on because
dispute the, I don't
nobody
dispute
else
the
was
Barcelona
there.
part at all. I don't dispute the Barcelona part at
He has
all.
done the same thing for Brazil. He has had last minute goals. Even the last World Cup, he scored a fantastic goal, although at the end it was not enough. Neymar was not at fault. See, what I'm trying to say is that people do not really understand the importance. Just look at his body of work without having that thing that, oh, he plays in PSG, he went for money. And
So,
after that, people have just blacklisted
if
Neymar because of what he has done outside of football,
if he
because of his
played, if
issues
he
with Mbappe. And the problem with him playing in PSG, let me just complete here. The problem with him playing with PSG was he was playing in a French league. Like you said, you were right on one thing. Mbappe coming in created problems because he was the French superstar. Neymar could not be the superstar there. He did not, probably he did not know that Mbappe was coming in. So Mbappe coming in created all the problems for him in a club level, at the club level. But he had already won it all at Barcelona, and by the time when he was at its peak, Messi, Suarez, and Neymar was really running the show. He was doing really well. He was winning games by himself for Barcelona. When Messi and Suarez were not able because they were, found out or they were marked out of the game, Neymar was winning games for them.
again, that's what whenever Neymar
Because
comes
we
up
have
in
seen that.
conversation,
We do not
again,
know
that's
what
what
happened at
it,
PSG
it's
because we never watched it.
again, I agree. It's I'm not disputing how good Neymar was at Barcelona, but every time Neymar's
How
conversation
many
comes up
games
and
did you
somebody
see of
wants to
PSG? Even I have not
listen,
seen. That's the
listen,
problem. I follow him at
let me
Brazil. He played very well.
let me finish. So
Yeah.
when you have a conversation with anybody wanting to defend Neymar, you go back to his Barcelona time, and there's no dispute regarding his Barcelona time. He was excellent. He was elite. That's why PSG paid a hitherto unbroken transfer record for him to be signed to PSG, and that's why he still, to this day, remains the most expensive player in the world because he was that good. But if you are trying to define somebody by what he did 5 years ago to this day, then he has not lived up to that level in the past 5 years. He has clearly not lived up to that level. He has fallen off, and there are multiple reasons for that. Mbappe is being signed for one, him not being accustomed to PSG for another, him having injuries, all of these are valid reasons. I agree. Reasons aside, he has not lived up to that potential which he showed in Barcelona. And at
Yeah,
the
he
end of the
didn't.
day, I think it was a mistake on his end to move from Barcelona because if he had stayed, he would have seamlessly taken the role from Messi as the leader. He would have probably gone on to do great things. And the reason why Ronaldinho remains in my heart a lot more is because even though I personally support Real Madrid, you know that, and I think Ronaldinho, when he had the standing ovation at the Bernabeu, it is the type of sort of performance that will never go away, and he consistently did that when his time in Barcelona. He did not take the decision to move to an inferior league when he was at the peak of his powers. I think Neymar gambled. He was probably told that the league is going to be amazing, it's going to all get better, he's going to win the Ballon d'Or. I'm sure all those promises were given and probably falsely given to him. Somebody sold him a lie, but he took that lie and he did not live up to the potential that he could have had in his career.
No, there's no doubt about him not reaching his potential. But the fact is, in that first 5 years of his career, his body of work, I believe, is enough to say that he's one of the legends of the game. When you watch Neymar, maybe not now, but wait for 10, 15 years from now when people see highlights of Ronaldinho and they see highlights of Neymar. Ronaldinho, one of my favorite player, all right? Ronaldinho, okay, the Brazilian Ronaldo. Let's just compare him to that. Brazilian Ronaldo is considered a legend of the game. I think Neymar, if he had just won the World Cup, he would definitely just be in that. Just because of winning that one World Cup, all right? but only because he didn't win it or he didn't win the Champions League with PSG, we forget the fact that he has played fantastically well for whichever team he has played with. The Brazilian Ronaldo peaked at 19, 20. He had an injury and then he had, I think, hypothyroidism. He got fat. He couldn't play at the level he should have. But he still came back. He won the World Cup with Brazil in 2002. Had a fantastic World Cup. Played well for Real Madrid, but I don't think he won the Champions League with Real Madrid, isn't it? I don't think the time he was there, they won the Champions League.
Ronaldo.
They won it before, the Brazilian Ronaldo. They won it before and after him. But he's still considered a legend of the game. Why? Because of the probable 5 again. I'm a big fan of Ronaldo, so I'm telling you this. He was injured for Inter Milan 1999. He was injured for 1.5 years. And if you remember Ronaldo as a fantastic player. You go look at his highlights. Most of them are in Brazil or a few highlights in Barcelona. 1 or 2 in Inter Milan.
Ronaldo
He had fantastic.
Come on.
He had a few.
That's
He had
so
a few
unfair.
really. No. He had a few really good games in Real Madrid, but he was not at the level that he was before that. Have you seen him before that? The season he had at Barcelona, he scored 30 all goals. All right. But what was his age then? So he played
what's the
6
point?
or 7 great years of football. But because he won the World Cup, we consider him as one of the best and elite players, which I agree because he is my favorite player. I consider him. He's no comparison to Neymar.
So,
Agreed.
You are arguing
But what I'm
with
trying to
yourself here, Monish.
No, I'm not. What I'm trying to say, if Ronaldo is considered one of the best players because of 5 or 6 great years of football, why not Neymar?
Right.
Why not?
Well, no, I don't think
Because he
it's
just
very
decided to
unfair
go for the money, just because he went for the money, and because the European media has told this thing like, listen, he went for the money, and PSG is a league below its standard because Barcelona has history, and look at what that history has got them. Because Barcelona has history, and he went to PSG, and that was Qatari money, so there was this thing that, oh, look at him, he just went for the money. You put him down.
Fine.
Mbappe is one of the best players. He brought in France to win almost 2 World Cups. All right, he brought them to the final, but he's still not in the picture for the Ballon d'Or. Why?
Fine. So,
Why? No, my question
No,
is
that's
that
what- no,
because
I'll
if players
tell
go for
you the
money,
answer.
the media and the football fraternity make sure that, listen, you go for money, we are going to make sure that you do not reach the level that you should.
Okay, fine. Is that so? You said Ronaldo had very few goals. He scored 103 goals in 177 matches for Real Madrid.
Yeah.
59 in 99 for Inter Milan.
Okay.
47 in 49 for Barcelona.
No.
Okay.
I said after Barcelona, his goal output dropped. He wasn't at the level. He scored 30. He had a 30 goals season for Barcelona. For Real Madrid, he was scoring 20 each.
He scored 68 goals in 123 games for Barcelona, Neymar.
Yeah.
Okay.
And how much for
And he
PSG?
scored 82 goals in 112 games for PSG.
Yeah, in
That
the
is
league.
it. You're comparing that to Ronaldo, who scored
not
103 in 76. And you're saying Ronaldo scored very few goals in his.
So Brazilian Ronaldo, I think he is the original Ronaldo. I've even put it up on social media yesterday. I get very bugged that Cristiano Ronaldo is called Ronaldo, even if he was playing for Manchester
Listen,
United.
again, completely.
So more
More.
importantly, what I'm trying to say is Brazilian Ronaldo had like the peak, and after that he fell off for a few years. Even at his Real Madrid, he was one of the best players in the world. He was the best, but he was not at his potential. Why? Because he got injured.
He was.
There's no
incredible
doubt.
at Real
There was
Madrid.
yes, and he was better before.
Yeah, possibly because he had an injury, but still
Yes.
he remained amazing, and he played at the top.
And how
tier
many
of
exactly
world football. He played
he
for Real
just-
Madrid. In
he just
Spanish
because he
league
played
at
for
its
Real
height-
Madrid.
At its height, Neymar played for the Farmers League for PSG, who were dominating clubs left, right, center. It was not even anything great. How is
Yeah,
that a comparable club accomplishment?
No, I'm not talking about. Okay, so at PSG, at his time in PSG, Neymar scored 22 goals in 41 games
Okay, so
in Europe.
okay, so
That's what I'm trying to say. He was scoring goals. He was scoring goals in the Champions League. But just
Fine, one
because
in
it
two
was
games.
Neymar,
One
Sorry?
in 2 games. So even if you take that as one goal in 2 games, that is the best that he has done. Ronaldo, on the other hand, at the highest levels, have consistently maintained a better average than a goal a game, close to a goal 1.5 games.
no, I mean, which Brazilian Ronaldo you was talking about?
Brazilian
Yeah, I mean,
Ronaldo, yeah.
I agree. He's a legend, but Neymar is as much a legend. He's not at the
Oh,
level of him.
no. Oh,
But
absolutely
after
nowhere
Ronaldo, if there is a superstar from Brazil, it's Neymar. It's not the Thiago Silva. It's not the Marquinhos. It's Neymar.
No, I
Just
don't think
because.
Thiago Silva or Marquinhos are legends. I don't have to bring them into that conversation at
Okay,
all.
then all right. But what I'm trying to say is just because Vinicius plays for Real Madrid, they consider him better than Neymar.
No, 100% Vinicius has a higher
Potential.
ceiling now. Higher ceiling, yeah.
Higher ceiling, but is he better?
No, he's not
Over the
currently
last 5
better.
years.
He's not, because he's only
Yeah.
done for 2 years, and I won't consider anybody better if they've done it for 2 years. If Vinicius falls off the chart now, and even if he wins the Champions League this season for Madrid on his own, and then becomes a nonsensical player or a very average player for the rest of his career, I don't think that one season defines him. You have to be consistently good. So that's what that's the same logic I'm applying to Neymar. He's had a couple of very good seasons, but he has not sustained that throughout his career, and that's as many good seasons. Barcelona, he was
Okay.
there for 4 years.
All right. You're
Literally
talking
4
about
years. He
now.
was
Now,
there.
4 years
He
is good.
played
Okay.
for Barcelona
Brazilian
for all of 4 years. That's his
Brazilian
entire playing
Ronaldo.
time for Barcelona.
Brazilian Ronaldo Nazario, all right, in the Champions League, in continental football for Real Madrid. He scored 15 goals in 36 games.
Okay.
Now, the Champions League is probably the same quality all through. Are you going to say that time Champions League was more difficult than now? So he was playing for Real Madrid. At that moment, he scored 15 goals in 36 games. Neymar has had a better ratio of goal scoring in the Champions League than Ronaldo during his Real Madrid days.
Okay, so I don't get
So
that
why
comparison
why
here. You're
why is
yourself saying
Neymar
he's a
not
better player.
considered? Who?
You're saying Ronaldo in himself is a better player than
Yes,
Neymar.
and
Then
he's
why are you
given-
making the argument for against it then?
I am giving the argument against him because Neymar is not given the status, he's not given the respect that he deserves. If Ronaldo was a better player, agreed. You say that he's a legend and he was fantastic at Real Madrid. All right. During his time in listen to the whole thing. During his time in Real Madrid, his goal scoring ratio was lower than Neymar's goal scoring ratio in Europe for PSG. So why is Neymar scoring goals at a lesser league creating a problem over there? Because Neymar had Mbappe with him. He had one of the best strikers in.
Yeah, if you
in
want
football.
some nuances for that,
Yeah,
how
tell
many
me.
teams did he? How many teams did Neymar score against in the knockouts of the Champions League? And how many teams did he pummel as minnows in Champions League football in the group stages? Do you have any stats for that?
I have to go through that.
Yeah,
now.
that's what. So,
But I still believe.
listen, I don't think when you yourself admit that Ronaldo's a better legend or a
I
higher
agree he's a
player than
better
Neymar,
legend.
then why are you making the argument against it then?
No, because you keep mentioning that he didn't have the stats. So I'm trying to tell you that Neymar at PSG was not a dud. Because of the way I'm looking at telling people are biased. Because Ronaldo won the World Cup after losing it, that story was good. And because he played for Real Madrid, all right, and a lot more people support Real Madrid for its history and various other reasons. And the fact that Real Madrid bought a lot of players at that time. They bought the Galacticos. What did Real Madrid do when Florentino Perez first took over? They bought in players from all their rivals. They brought in players from all over the world, and they built a team. Although they had a very good team already at first, isn't it? So just because it was Real Madrid and a club with history,
You're telling me PSG did not do that?
PSG did the same thing. Then why is Neymar not given the same amount of respect? Because he went for a
PSG
better
did it in
club.
a far inferior league, and Neymar could not sustain the levels that anybody else did. Neymar had
What
injuries,
levels?
Neymar
What
had
levels?
problems with Mbappe, had falling outs with Mbappe, could not do it consistently at inferior league. He was
And-
clearly playing in inferior league and not doing it to the same level that he was doing at Barcelona. So everybody thought he's done, and he was, and he is.
How
And
is he
that's-
done?
that
Because I'm
shows-
trying to tell you that he did well.
PSG
He
has
played well for Brazil.
openly- PSG has openly been giving him putting him up for sale for the past 3 years. A club who had such a great player, who paid a world record signing for him, want him out. It was because he was clearly having problems with Mbappe. He was not a good person in the dressing room, and secondly, he was not contributing enough on the pitch. When he would play, he would score goals, but he wouldn't consistently play enough to make that investment worth it. And PSG wanted to get rid of him as soon as possible.
Because of
only
the fact
reason
that they
why-
had Mbappe.
Yeah, fine. So Real Madrid had, on top of Ronaldinho, had lots of players in the position. It's not like Ronaldo was ever hawked around for sale. Ronaldo left on his own terms. And Neymar never did that because PSG always found him up for sale. Last year, he would have gone to any club that would have taken him, except for the fact that it was World Cup in 6 months' time. And that was the only reason why Neymar refused to go. Otherwise, Neymar would have gone himself, I think, because I don't think it was good for him to be in an environment where he wasn't wanted. So why would he stay? And at the end of the day, Neymar clearly has not lived up to his potential. His
No, he
potential
has
was
not.
extremely high, and
Exactly.
he has done great things at Barcelona. But beyond those few seasons at Barca, he has just fallen off. He has always been exponentially gifted player, and you can see that even if he plays football today, that doesn't take away from the fact that he has not justified that talent. He has not fulfilled his potential.
There's no
That's all I'm
doubt
trying to
about
say.
that. He's not fulfilled his potential. What I'm trying to say is, looking back, Neymar is going to be considered one of the legends of the games, and the reason he's not is also because of the whole PSG fiasco. PSG was not really well run. They were buying players over him. They bought Mbappe, and that created all the problems for him at PSG.
I agree.
But
There are lots
also
of
the
problems
fact
for
that
him.
there is a bias against Neymar, a big bias.
There is
Just
no
because
bias,
he
Monish.
just because he was sold for the world record fee, he was put under pressure, which is agreeable. But there is a bias against Neymar because he went to PSG. If he had gone for the
See,
same amount
when
to
you're
any other,
sold for that amount of money, there's a bias against any club. In your own club, you have seen Lukaku, Harry Maguire, Anthony now all come for massive fees. And the moment they come in for such massive fees, there is an inadvertent pressure on them. That's just how the nature of girl goes, and that's how economic plays.
now if Neymar had gone to Bayern Munich,
Yeah,
where Bayern Munich has been winning this league. Okay, PSG has even lost it. Okay, Bayern Munich has been winning it for the last 11 years. If Neymar had gone for the same club record fee to Bayern Munich and scored the same amount of goals, okay, you say the German league is a bit more difficult, maybe 10% less.
I don't say the
Let me
German league is
complete.
going to be more.
Let
So,
Do you think don't you think there is a bias? If he had gone to
yes,
Bayern Munich, this wouldn't have been
if
there as bad as
if
it
he
was
were
because he went to.
because
It's
he
not about
might have
making an
gone there, he
argument.
might have played the same games, he might have had the same impression. I don't know. We don't know because it never happened. And
Exactly, but what I'm trying to say is the media's reaction to him going to PSG was they were already decide they had already decided that Neymar has gone to PSG, and they were looking at it from afar and they were just blaming him for everything that was going wrong at PSG.
I think that's a
That's totally true.
extremely
True.
rose-tinted way of looking at it and absolving Neymar of all the wrong things he has done himself. You think he would just go for the Brazilian Carnival every year in the middle of the season just because he couldn't be bothered to play games? How is that
And you know how many other
professionalism?
players did that? You heard about the stories of Romario when he said that when he
Again,
asked to
I'm
go to
sure
the
there
carnival.
are professionalism at some point in the past and compare it to today. Because players used to smoke consistently today. Players used to celebrate after the match, going to a place known as a players' bar in the stadiums and have alcohol after the game. This used to be a consistent thing that used to happen before. Now that does not. If somebody smokes or drinks alcohol right after the game or before the game, then they are sanctioned by the club because things have moved forward, progressed. So you can't compare Neymar
So
doing this and Romario doing this 20 or 30 years back.
Neymar probably, if he is someone who probably like to enjoy life as well as football. Obviously, the clubs didn't like it.
I don't have any problems with that. It's his life. He should enjoy it how he sees fit. Nobody else is there to judge him. It's just that he can have that on his side and do whatever he wants, but he just cannot be compared to the other elites because of all that he has given up due to that.
Like
That's it.
whom? Okay, who are the elites now over here?
No, for me, the elites are Ronaldo, Messi, Maradona,
Ro-
Pele, and Zidane. And
All right.
so their level, I would consider even the Brazilian
But
Ronaldo, consider what is it, Neymar at that level at all. He's definitely
you
far below
you
that.
think he was not the level of Ronaldinho?
That's what I have a fondness for Ronaldinho because of what he did. Like I saw him growing up. I have a feeling for what he did. He did it at a very high level. He did it against my club, to be honest, and I respected him for doing that. He was an incredible player, but Neymar has not done that. Beyond that last couple of years or 3 years in Barcelona, he has not lived up to his potential after that. And he does not hold any favor in my heart for doing it
Yeah.
in a
The
French
thing
league.
is, Ronaldinho when he was at his peak, we were kids. He was probably the one player that we were excited to watch. Everybody
Yeah,
was
so
excited to watch
even
Ronaldinho.
today's kids,
Then used to watch
I know,
clips of Ronaldinho. People used to try following and trying to do it and used to fail miserably. I mean, I was horribly deficient at any sort of footballing skill. Anyway, moving
anyway,
on. But the thing
people,
is,
yeah,
Ronaldinho,
listening to this
Ronaldinho
conversation
was
will
someone.
think,
So Ronaldinho was probably that sort of footballer that excited people. All right, at that time, as a youngster, you saw Ronaldinho and you always were like, "Oh, this is fantastic. This is the height of skill." You try some of those step overs, you fail miserably. After him, Messi used to do that to beat players. Very skillful, again, very exciting. But after Ronaldinho, if there was someone who probably excited me, who I would just watch to see what he did with the ball. When he got the ball, so players try to beat them with different ways. Cristiano Ronaldo, by the time he was in his last 2 seasons of Manchester United, René Mullenstein had completely changed him. He was just trying to beat players with pace more than anything. Okay, he had pace, his physicality had changed. He had the tricks. Yes, he had a step over, but let's be honest. He had one trick. He did that very well, but that trick was also the pace that he had a big role to play in that particular skill that he had. Cristiano Ronaldo's step over was based on his pace as well. Neymar was someone that when he got the ball, you always were wondering what he's doing. He's a bit old school. When he got the ball, you were excited with what he was going to do next. Right now, I get bugged because football is losing out on characters. I mean I agree that some players are like you see managers are not ready to take any sort of characters in
no,
the team.
I agree. I think we had a
Pep,
conversation about this earlier this year because
yeah,
Alan Saint-Maximin was sold by Newcastle United and we replaced him with Harvey Barnes because Barnes is the number player. He scored goals, he makes assists, he does everything that a manager wants. Saint-Maximin, on the other hand, is an emotional player. When he gets the ball, as you said with Neymar, we don't know what he's going to do. He might beat 10 players and then go back and try to beat them again. Or he may just cross it in the first time.
yeah.
Who knows what he's
I
going to do?
mean,
But
okay.
I understand
Saint
that
Maximin is
emotion.
good, not at the level of Neymar, but Saint Maximin, okay, I agree. Like Saint Maximin, Tarabt, Adel Tarabt, all these players
No,
had that
I was just making a
X
point
factor.
about
Yeah,
emotion coming out of the game and being replaced by numbers.
hard numbers. Now
Yeah,
Pep Guardiola has converted Manchester City into a team that plays by hard numbers, and the same is happening all around. No club is allowing those players like they say how Sir Alex Ferguson. Okay, he might have sidelined a few, but he still had a couple of players that he knew whose character they wouldn't listen to him. Eric Cantona, like you mentioned, when all of this was happening, when professionalism was seeping into football, Cantona still made it a point to go out and have a glass of champagne after playing football. All right? And that is when it was seeping in. But Ferguson let him be. He would probably be more harder on Ryan Giggs or David Beckham, but not Cantona because he knew he had to be himself. And he thrived. Cantona tried in Manchester
so
United.
again, this is
Our
a sort of
clubs and coaches not letting players, they're not
again,
giving them that
I don't
chance.
think that's on. You can't blame the coaches and players for everything because after all, PSG had so many coaches during the time that Neymar was there. PSG were a basket case in hiring and firing, so they just did a lot of nonsensical stuff. I think the transfer did not work out for anybody. It did not work out for PSG. It did not work out for Neymar. It did not work out for Neymar's fans. It did not work out for PSG's fans. I don't think anybody came out from as a winner.
And
The
didn't work
sad
out for
part,
Mbappe as well.
yeah, it did not work out for Mbappe. It did not even work out for Messi when he went there. So I don't think it ever worked for anybody. And that's lot of things. Again, we'll just get lost if we go into all the reasons why it didn't. But at the end of the day, it didn't. And that's sad for Neymar because it did not prove his potential as a player. But at the end of the day, that happened, and there's no disputable way that it happened. I would have probably been uh, happier if Neymar had found a way out of PSG after the first couple of years or 3 years, realized this isn't working, and gone to a club
I,
where
I
he would have been accepted. He would have been
I
able
think
to
he
play.
was on his way out, but then PSG, when they got Messi, Neymar decided to stay a bit longer. Probably he should have gotten out at that moment.
Yeah, if he had, it would have been probably a chance to set everything right. That didn't go well in PSG, but he
But
never did that. And at the end of the day, you only are judged by what you did. And because he did not do that, because he had a really bad time in PSG, that's what he'll be remembered by, unfortunately. Again, I agree with you
No,
that
but
his
I
potential is
think I
far
think
better.
no, I think in history will also will probably like you go around, you decide who is the player who scored the maximum goals for Brazil, and you start googling the player, you look at his tricks. I think people will start giving Neymar more of his due.
Yeah, perhaps history might be kind to him, but we are not there yet. We are still in his
Yeah,
time as a player,
but
so
I
we'll
still
wait
I
to
still
see.
feel there's this bias against Neymar, which
I don't think it's
I
a
think
bias. I
is
don't think it is honestly that, because I think it is more to do with the fact that Neymar went there at the peak of his career and did not have a chance to set it right, and he's sort of destroyed his legacy from Barcelona. His Barcelona peak was so good that he would have been considered one of the greatest players of all time, not just one of the greats, one of the greatest players of all time, period. And he just went so far below that. That's the worry that everybody has when they call it the conversation. The reason why I don't think Mbappe or Messi get held to that same standard is because Mbappe is so young, he's going to make that move this year or next into another team other than PSG, and he's probably going to do it in his career. If he's not, then he should be judged by the same metric. And Messi, he did everything at Barcelona. He did it for decades or more, and
no
he's
Messi
proven.
is
So Messi is completely
Messi
different.
is
So I
the
don't think,
greatest of all time.
uh,
There's I think
yeah.
I
So
mean
I don't think they would be judged for the same metric, and that's why Neymar
you
got all
can
the flack.
like Cristiano more, but you have to agree that Messi is just the
Yeah,
greatest.
I'm a Cristiano fanboy,
Like
so
I know, but I mean, I was listening to the rest is football, and all of them, Gary and Enrique, all three of them. Finally, they are like, who do you think is better?
yeah,
And
everybody
Lineker is like,
votes for Messi.
there's no answer. It's just him. It's just him. Finally, they are like, who do you think is better?
Yeah,
And
everybody
Lineker is like,
votes for Messi.
there's no answer. It's just him. It's just him.